So your marketing plan is your roadmap for your overall marketing for your business, your book, or your movie, or whatever it is that you're doing. And the content plan falls out of that. So I plan what content to post on a monthly basis to support that marketing plan. Some people plan a whole year ahead. It really is up to you what you want to do. I do a kind of a plan. I know what I'm doing a month ahead, but I get a bit more detailed on a week-by-week basis. So it doesn't mean you're producing your content, you're just planning it at that particular point in time. But also be prepared to be flexible, because something could suddenly come into the news that's relevant. All sorts of things can happen, and you can suddenly decide to change what you intended to do within that month. So I wouldn't do too much work too far ahead, but I would have a good idea where I was going. So step one for your social media content plan is to decide what type of content you want to share. Now, there's tons of types of content out there, and if you've got the time and the skills, you could do everything. But what I tend to do is have a few core content types that I work with, where I've got sort of templates set up for, and I know I can turn things around quite quickly. Yes, every now and again, like actually the content plan that I'm going to be going through with you is a little bit different. But the majority of the time, if it's just sort of business as usual, I've got a key kind of content types that I'm working with, got the templates set up. I know what content I'm going to be putting in and out of those, but there's so many different types of contents. It's always good to put in a few jokes, a bit of fun. Don't make it all too serious, don't be too boring. It's not, and then you can be controversial also, very good. People like that. I think people engage with controversy. So don't just stick to things that are completely safe, but stick to what suits your personality. And the other thing is that will help you to keep your content focused is to come up with overall themes, content themes. So, and again, the content theme will keep you focused on producing coherent content. So, it might be my theme for this week, for instance, is how to create a social media content calendar. Surprise, surprise. So that's my theme. So anything around that is basically what I'll be looking for content to put within that week. My next theme that's coming up is actually going to run over 2 weeks. So again, the theme might not just be for a week. It could be for a month. It could be for 2 weeks. It really depends on your strategy, your marketing plan, and what it is that you are trying to get your audience to engage with. But you should have a good idea what type of content your audience is looking for. Now, if you don't, well, you should have some ideas, but fine, you've got an idea of the content type just going to come out of there. But you're kind of struggling to come up with topics, because, we end up with like, oh my God, what am I going to do next week on that particular topic? And you can sometimes run out of ideas. I use a little tool called StepStat. I've got it loaded up already, so we don't need to wait for it. Now, StepStat's like a keyword research tool. So let me just, okay. Sorry, I thought I'd done that already. So I use this quite a lot for research, and because it's a good thing to think of what is it that people are looking for, and what is it they're searching for? Because if they're searching for something, then something that's quite good to write about, isn't it? So I'm just going to put in social media. There we go, and search what people are looking for. See what I mean about my bandwidth, broadband? It's not brilliant. And then I can go here to content marketing. And this is a free tool. It does have like all the tools I'm going to show you, it does have a paid for option. And then I can go to search questions. So that's basically me saying, well, what are people searching for related to social media? Because that's what I do. And it comes up with the most popular words that are being searched at the moment. So I could drill down into them, but that's already given me some topics. You know, I could write about social media marketing, social media in business. What kind of jobs can you do? So you've got social media, how to get social media engagement, content, etc. So I've got all of these right away, but I can also go down into say, well, what are the how-to words they're searching for? They're saying how social media evolved. I mean, all of these are ideas for content. I'm not going to stick around in here too long. You will get this document, you will get the links, but can you see that suddenly you can get some ideas for content without too much trouble, without actually, you know, hitting your head off a brick wall. Again, you could drill down into these and actually see further what it is that they're looking for, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm also going to put a link in here. This is an article which is all about ways to come up with content ideas using various different research channels. So if you want to get something a lot more in depth, this will show you the various places to go to do the research on that particular topic. I'm not going to show you right now because it's going to become, I'm going to show you how this is part of my content plan that's coming up. So from your research, you can create a list of themes, and suddenly you can say, oh, I've got 6 weeks or 6 months worth of themes that I can write about and communicate on. If I get any more links in here, coming back here. So step 2, so we decide which platforms that you want to post to. And again, that's a case of saying, well, where does my audience hang out? This is nothing to do with you're good at Facebook and you're not going anywhere else, or you're good at this. It's really thinking, who is my, and this is part of your marketing plan, is who is my ideal audience, who and where do they hang out? Where am I most likely to engage with them with the type of content I want to engage with them with. So deciding the platforms that you want to post on, and then how often to post every day. Now, there are no rules, but this is just from a whole lot of research that this is kind of the minimum that you should be posting. Some people only post to Facebook once a week, sometimes 3 times a week. Some people post 5 times a day. But this is kind of like the ideal average to go on. So it's not a huge amount. So the next step, once you have decided on your theme, you've decided how often you're going to post and where you're going to post to, is to plan your calendar. And use whatever you're comfortable with to plan your calendar. You know, whether that's sitting down with your paper in your diary, just drawing your columns up, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, or doing it in a spreadsheet, or going straight into a piece of software. It really is up to you. I normally do my planning in a spreadsheet, and then I move on to the software, which has got the software that I use, which I'll show you briefly, has got quite a lot of planning functionality in it. But I need to get that basic idea down. So this is an example of my content plan for this particular theme for this week. I'm just going to be a little bit honest here. I did this 2 weeks ago, so you're going to catch me out when I go into the content planning software anyway. So, but I've just redone it for you to show as though it was doing this week. Now, I usually do my content on a Wednesday. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. Is they say that Tuesday is the best day to actually share video early in the week, Monday, Tuesday optimum. Especially on platforms like LinkedIn, and that gives your video a little bit more legs on the LinkedIn platform. So if I'm going to do any video editing, then I want to give myself a little bit of time. If it's, for instance, this particular event that we're doing right now, it's not Facebook Live, but if it was a Facebook Live, then I want to be able to have time to edit that, to put that edit out onto other platforms. It could go onto YouTube or wherever else it is you choose. Now, my whole content calendar is based around a blog, okay? There is another group that I belong to. Their blogging day is Tuesday, and we've based it around this Tuesday deadline with the blog. So all of the content that you can see on this content plan is coming from the content of one blog post on one topic on how to create a content calendar. I just want to see what I had next. All of that content is then repurposed across the week in various ways to create a whole week's worth of content. So for today, I've got the presentation I've had to create. I had already created a 1-minute video, which I think Nicole shared in the group last week, based around that same content. The curated content. Now, curated content is content that comes from experts in your field. So you don't need to share everything. You don't have to create everything that you share. Just to establish yourself as an expert is to know that you know where to go and who is the expert in your field, and sharing content from them is another great way to have content in your content plan. Another way for you to be seen, to be in touch with, and to be part of that sort of expert group. Also from the blog post, I'm creating some, or I've created some quote graphics, just pulling out a few quotes from the blog post, and created some graphics for Instagram because that's a very visual platform. And again, if you've got a great quote that's come from you, or again from one of the experts, great thing to share on Instagram. Also, I have got, what else have I got? Yeah, so out of all of this, my next thing for next week is all about creating content. So actually, how do you go about creating it? So I'm setting myself up by Wednesday next week to have an event ready to invite people to come to be able to start learning about how to create content. Also, from all of this, I've also, at the end of this, I will be sending you a link to download a guide, which basically is going to cover everything we've got in today, with all the links to all of the software. That guide then becomes a lead magnet for me from my website, and it's something that can go out with this edited video on Facebook, on LinkedIn, with a link to the guide. I can also link my blog post to the guide as well. So can you see how we're starting to reuse, repurpose content, all coming out from one blog post on one topic under one theme? So it's doesn't have to be difficult if you can just plan everything out as carefully as possible. I've just come out here because I'm going to take you into some other places now. So the next thing is to create your content. So as I said earlier, I set aside one day to create content, and this is part of your marketing. This is really vitally important. There's no point in doing all the things that you do if you're not reaching your audience. So setting aside that time for content creation is really important. So set aside that time in the week to write, create, and curate all of your content. So Canva is a tool that I create all my graphics in. It's free. There is a paid for version. I use a paid for version because it has a great resizing capability. So I could create a graphic for, I mean, this is for a band, and they have the same thing going out on many platforms. Instagram, Facebook, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, you know, they have a little film done each time. So I can create it once for the latest song, and then I can automatically resize it to go out for everything else. So I just have templates made up, and it's an absolutely brilliant tool to create any of your graphic content. Another tool that I use is, actually, get as many free pictures as you can. I mean, social media is all about images, and having that visual impact, being able to grab the user's attention within fractions of a second. So I used multitudes of images for my clients and for myself. I think I must have an enormous image bank myself sitting on my computer. But a lot of them are free, and if you don't need anything that's very, very specific, then you can use something like Unsplash.com to get some really beautiful free images. So where you can, they'll ask you, buy the photographer a cup of coffee. If I use someone quite often, like if I've used a similar as the same person on my for a website, I might be using a particular style, then I'll put some money into his PayPal account. There's a link to go ahead and do that. Now, curated content. Finding that expert content, there are services like BuzzSumo, Feedly, and Post Planner. Just going to go into Feedly here. So if I want to, I subscribe to this. I've set up the content that I want to come into my channels, and I then get news from various content channels coming in here, and I can look through to find something that is relevant to the theme that I'm working on, and I can then just select that article, get the link for it, and then use that article as with a little bit of, well, obviously once I've read it, get myself have a bit of an opinion on it, and then I can share this as part of my content plan for the week. So these are all the various little bits of content that I've produced for that plan that we had earlier. So my little 1-minute video, this is my event for the next week. This is the actual piece of curated content I'm using, the guide, the landing page for the guide, and some little graphics. Step 5, we've now got all our content, we've created everything, it's all ready to go, is to upload the content, add the hashtags and links, and schedule a time for your post to go out. I write my posts directly into the software I use, and that software is called Content Cow. I'll just show you that one quickly as well. There are loads of different scheduling software out there. There's Hootsuite, which probably a lot of you have heard of, and Sprout Social, and various different types. Now, I like this one because it's UK based. I can talk to these people quite easily, and I also like the fact, the way that it's laid out, the kind of flexibility it gives me, and it's, for me, it works very, very well. So it's very easy to add content to the calendar. Let me get to today. Let's just put something in for today. Right. Okay, so I want to add a new post. I can choose which platforms I want the post to go out on, if I'm going to do the same one to each one. So let's see. That's the link I just picked up from that content curating site. All I have to do is put a little bit of space behind it, and I can say, this is a great piece about whatever, and put my opinion above the actual article, the curated content article I want. Schedule when I want it to go out, schedule the time I want it to go out, and add the post. Now, if I was going to be doing a post using a graphic, then I would just upload the graphic straight to the software. So, and then I can just schedule the post. That's now been scheduled very simply. onto each of those. I might not want to do those every day, so I might decide actually I want to go out on Twitter on that day, and I only want to go out on Instagram on that day. So once it's actually, or on LinkedIn. I think it's a really great content scheduling tool, very visual. It's very flexible. I can go and quite easily change the dates, or I can decide to republish it as well. So changing dates, it's just a case of sticking it on that day again, and approve it for them, and off it goes. So a really simple but powerful tool. And now hopefully that I've set it up. The other thing that you can do with Content Cow, you can bring in your links shortening service, which is really great for Twitter, and you can store all of your hashtags within Content Cow as well. So instead of having to copy and paste hashtags in, as you put your post in, you can just add the hashtag straight from your list. So it's a really powerful way to get your content scheduled, very visual, very user-friendly, UK-based, a nice bunch of people to talk to. So step number 5, we've uploaded the content, add your hashtags, add your links, schedule your time, and that's it. Basically, you've got your week's worth of content scheduled. Once you've created it, upload the whole lot for the week, schedule it, and basically forget it, except for engaging with your audience and responding to comments and doing the bit on social media that's actually the nice part to do. So in 5 easy steps, that's really how you would set up your social media content calendar. So really all it takes is a little bit of planning, and you can be on all of the platforms that are relevant to your business without too much stress. A few simple tools to use, and again I'll give you these links to these. I'll give you a link to my, this is a very, very basic planning calendar. Coming up with your themes, finding your created content, creating your graphics, writing your blogs, and you lot are all very good with creating the actual content. You don't have to do video, but it's a very good way to establish it. This little strategy here is basically saying you're going out live to talk about your theme and your content. You're backing that up with some expert opinions on it. You're editing your live video, the longer one from up here, and you're editing that down to the salient points. Perhaps adding a guide that you've written, or linking it to your blog post where the content first came from. The video is created, the 1-minute video is created just from the points on your blog post, and then you're setting up an event to dive deeper into your theme. And it's just a nice little strategy that you can use over and over again for creating that expert level on social media. Again, you don't have to to post video, but all of the social media platforms are more likely to promote your video content than they are anything else. They'll prioritize it. So getting out there as much as you can. If you don't like to go live, at least get something recorded and upload it. But you will not get as much exposure as you would with a live video. Right, so has anybody got any questions? You can unmute yourself. I felt very alone there.
Mute.
Sorry,
Okay, this is Lucy. Thanks, I got loads out of that. I got loads, so I'm now just itching to go off and do it. But I have one really simple question actually, and it's about the use of hashtags.
Yes.
as I think you know, I'm fixated on Facebook. I just can't get the hang of the other stuff. I can't get to it, you know, on Twitter or anything else. Is it even worth using hashtags on Facebook?
Well, again, it depends what it's about. Yeah, they'd rather use it than don't. But in Facebook, they don't really like you to use a whole lot of hashtags. But hashtags are much more for Instagram and Twitter. LinkedIn's also got some very specific hashtags that people seem to engage around. I think there's one, it's Women in Business. I can't remember what the actual title is. I've got it on my list. So if you've anything that's gone specifically to a female business group, then there are quite a lot of people that are following that hashtag on LinkedIn. It's not quite the same as kind of the way hashtag is used in Instagram. But there are some hashtag tools that you can. I didn't include them because this one is not about content. My next one's going to be about content, but let's think where we've got some hashtag.
And sorry if this is going off topic. Generally, I just wanted to know if it was even worth using them at all. But
But Lucy, you've got to get off of just using Facebook. The problem, you know, if you've got all your eggs in one basket and something goes wrong.
I know. I keep forgetting to do it. So I've got updates.
That's why if you're planning it, you're scheduling it once a week, you're doing it.
True.
And you're engaging with them across platforms because they're not all in one place.
And actually LinkedIn, Lucy, is a lot easier. I mean, I'm no expert on this, but LinkedIn's a lot easier than I thought it would be. And also you can, like as Kay said, you can tweak what you've done for Facebook slightly for LinkedIn and use it again.
Yeah.
I suppose I've just got a few alter egos. So, you know, I've got LinkedIn I use for one, you know, there's other things I use. So, you know, me and my multiple identities, unfortunately. So LinkedIn.
I kind of love that. You can use that content across a lot of them then maybe.
I know. I'll get found out being all these people.
Especially, you know, now that your book's going to be launched very soon.
I know, I've got to do it. I also hate the idea of having a Twitter with like one follower. It's so depressing.
It's depressing, but there are strategies for.
Anyway, enough. I'm going off topic again.
Lucy, put your book out on LinkedIn so that I can share it.
I'll share it too.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciated all the support. Honestly, I've been really chuffed. Thanks, I will.
Oh, we're so looking forward to reading it. Hey, can I ask you? Malcolm Pollock on the Tribe put me onto Adobe Spark, and that also is a free version. Do you have an opinion on that? I mean, I use Canva as well, but do you use Adobe Spark?
I find Adobe Spark really, really slow, but you know, it's possibly just my my internet connection. But yeah, I think Adobe Spark's great, and a lot of people do use Spark. I've used it a couple of times for creating some of those little 1-minute videos as well.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, tools, people, you know, prefer certain tools, but I'd say Canva's pretty much become, because I don't know, it's become a bit of the backbone for social media managers. You know, Canva's pretty much what we use. Spark gets used quite a bit for video. I use Lumen 5 video, which is really easy. You just sort of feed in your blog post and it pulls all the points out for you.
Really? Lumen 5? Did you say LUME?
Secrets here. This is all.
Yeah, no, we need those secrets. But that's okay, because we'll all have to do another 20 or 30 years to catch up to your level, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, Lumen 5 is, basically you can take any article off the internet or your blog post, feed it in. It will, you know, do its best to fill out the points. And you can then just tweak it from there and then put.
That might be on my Christmas card list, that one.
It's free.
Okay.
Actually, it's free. You can use it free. They will add on Lumen 5 at the end. So I use paid version, which means that it doesn't, because I'm using it for clients. Obviously, it's and you get a little access to a few more images. Yeah, that's on my guide, which I created in Canva.
Okay.
Yes, sorry.
This is Beth. If somebody doesn't know Canva, when you create your posts, you have to do them differently for each social media format, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty again with Canva.
I was hoping there was a shortcut. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, no, it's already, the templates are there. It will come up already with, what do you want to do this? You can write social media post. What is it you're trying to do? And write down to. I just find it a really easy tool to use. I've been using it for years, so I suppose that's one of the reasons why. And it has built-in images and things like that you can search. It's definitely industry standard. Sorry,
I was going to ask a question. Sorry, Kay. It's Kira here. I just wondered, is it absolutely essential to have a Twitter account? I can do all the others, but I'm just so not interested in Twitter at all.
I will ask you, does your intended audience hang out on Twitter? Is it somewhere that you would find them? Are they having conversations that you should be engaging in? This is not bad.
Because I don't use it, but yes, that's a good question. I'll have to find the answer to, I suppose.
The only platforms you need to be on is where your ideal audience is. So that bit of research done up front is and I understand it. We've all been with Facebook for ages. We're comfortable with it. But if you're going after like millennials, you're not going to find a lot of them there. You're going to have to go onto Instagram, you're going to Pinterest. It really depends on who is your ideal audience. If you're just using it just for social, use Facebook because that's where my friends are. That's fine. But where's your audience? Where are the people that are going to buy your books, your services? Where do they hang out? Who? I mean, what is your business? What is it you do?
I'm just repositioning myself. I'm basically a charity fundraiser, and I was with an organisation, and now I'm doing my own stuff. So I have a couple of projects which are in some ways similar but quite different. So my two targeted audiences will have some overlap. They probably are on Twitter because they're individuals, maybe high net worth individuals, and normal folk as well. They'll definitely be on LinkedIn, some of them. But I will have to. I'll just have to work out if they're on Twitter.
I can understand it. And Twitter, really, to get the most out of Twitter, you've got to be on it. Basically, every time the recommendation is every time you have a cup of coffee, do some tweet.
That's really why I'm not interested. I'm just. I think I probably will avoid it.
Well, put it in.
Can I ask a question, Kay?
Sure.
I'm on Nicole's phone now because we were clashing with the sound. When you've got, like Thursday the 4th, your first thing on Facebook is this Facebook Live, your 1 minute presentation. Is that about the blog that is coming later in the week? What is that 1 minute about?
Oh, sorry, that 1 minute, I thought you meant, let me see if I'll just play it for you. So basically, that 1 minute presentation, so that was created from the blog. It's all centered around the blog content and the blog theme. Let me just find my little video. I'm not too sure which version this is. So, and again, this is done in Lumen 5, so you might as well have a look and see what you can do with this.
It's not. That's not a Facebook Live. It's
No,
your presentation.
sorry, that's two different topics. The first one is a Facebook Live, or basically what we do now, the Zoom. Another
Right.
piece I'm doing is the 1 minute post on what it's about for as part of the whole rolling out. So that'll also go to LinkedIn and a square version of that to Instagram.
Okay. So that presentation doesn't have to be you doing a presentation about your blog. It's a video about the blog.
Let me just, this is probably a bit confusing because I know these are two separate things. Okay? That's one is do a Facebook Live. Two, share a 1 minute video about your topic. Okay. So those are two separate things. And again, this is my content calendar, but I would really recommend that this strategy of doing a Facebook Live, but actually do a live rather than what we do now, which is much more of a class. Doing a Facebook Live about your topic. When you do that, you've already written your blog. Although you're on putting your blog out later on, remember, in my case, I've done everything on the Wednesday. It's all done.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm using the blog as the basis for the Facebook Live, but I'm not reading it out. I'm doing it more in my own words and much more conversational. I've created a video from the blog that I can share separately. So it's another piece of content that's saying, you know, for people that don't want to sit through the whole Facebook Live, here's a nice little wrap up. But it's people like to share short videos. The curated content is also about your topic that you're talking about. You're setting yourself up as an expert in this topic. You're not setting yourself, you're letting people know you're an expert in this topic. You're backing that up with a piece of content from a well-known expert, and you're giving your opinion on it. You're either agreeing with it or you're, you know, whatever your opinion is on that piece of content that you're sharing. So you're just building up throughout the week for people, your audience, to be able to see that you are an expert in this particular area. You know a lot about it, and you're the go-to person should they want to know about it. It's also informing them. You know, you might be giving away things. I'm a social media manager. I'm just giving you all my tricks and tips that I do for my clients. But I've got a lot of clients, yes, they know they could do it themselves, but they really don't want to. They don't have the time, and they've got enough budget to pay me to do it for them. So sharing it with you is not going to make any difference. But I'm happy to give that away. I'm not hiding it. It's a secret. You know, it's not that. That's not the way the world works anymore. It really is. Share your knowledge, share your expertise, and people will really appreciate that from you. Some of them might steal it, but that's going to happen anyway. You know, so this whole hiding. What you know, we've got the world of the internet. If someone else can find it, if they want to go and find it, so be the one to share it. Be the one to share your knowledge, your expertise, and give value to your clients. The ones that are going to do it themselves are going to do it themselves anyway, but the ones that are going to pay you to do it are the ones that are going to start seeing you as an expert. So that really is what is about your content planning, and building the content around you is all about, and sharing it across multiple platforms. Things change so often, so holding on to knowledge, especially in my business, is you might as well give it away because it's going to be different tomorrow anyway. So what's the point? Leave room for some new stuff. So really,
I have to say the tendency in the tribe is for everyone to share. So I think it works because, I mean, nobody else has done a masterclass, but I do love that everybody kind of shares. And then I always assume, like, for example, with SEO, and I know I've talked to you about it, as soon as I've got the option, I'm going to come and see you, because I do content, but the truth is I'm not great at it. And you know, I'm writing a course, Mary is writing a course as well. And we are kind of a bit at a loss as to how we're going to sell it. So you might have both of us on your doorstep.
Well, here we can get yourself a good strategy together.
Yep.
Keep it in a manageable form, and get it out there. I mean, I'm just going to do my little bit of a sales pitch now, because I'm allowed to, because I'm locked away, you see.
You're allowed to do as long a sales pitch as you wish.
So I mean, what I'm trying to do as well, because I'm working with small businesses. I mean, I've always worked with big agencies and with big clients. And so it's bringing that sort of big agency thinking into small businesses. And I'm trying to break it down into bite-sized chunks so it's not all or nothing. I mean, I do a full-on at the bottom of the PSC, social media management services, where I do everything from the planning to the content creation to the scheduling, and I'll even engage with clients for you if you want me to, up to a point. But I do straight from just working on the strategy and planning, like let's put a strategy together for you and plan it, and you can do everything else yourself, or help you create month by month your planning calendar, so you know what you're doing, and then also letting you do the rest yourself. But I will create templates for you. I'll train you how to use the software yourself. I'll do ad hoc creation, so I do quite a lot of video stuff for people because it's a little bit more skilled than some of the others, or the full-on service, end-to-end service, where it just happens for you across all those platforms you don't like to engage with. So, you know, that's the kind of services that I'm offering. And if you get to the point where you can't do it yourself, or because you've got no time and too much money, then you know, just come and talk to me.
What a lovely place. Sorry,
We're gonna get a price list.
Kate, Mary's asking where you can get a price list.
Okay.
And I also,
sorry,
answer that and then I'll.
Price is one of those piece of string things. What I do is a 30-minute discovery call where we can have a chat and have a look at what you particularly need, because it really depends on how many platforms you need to be on, will depend on time and things like what do you need. If you wanted to go into doing a full strategy for, I mean, what's one we're doing recently? We're doing a strategy for a chap that's setting himself up as a personal brand in coaching, but in the high level, you know, £1 million coaching. I mean, that's his goal. He's already in quite a nice spot. So putting together the strategy for him to grow that is very different than putting together. I also work with one of my clients as a crystal therapist, and I put together her strategy for SEO and using Pinterest, and it's very different. So having that call about what is it that you, oh look, I made a spelling mistake, none of you picked me up on it. It really depends what you want. So having a half an hour just to have a quick look, what is you want. I'm happy to do a half an hour with any of you if you want some specific tips. Very happy to do that as well. I am going away to Cape Town for 2 weeks next Wednesday, so that's the only caveat around that. But I'm very happy to spend some time with each of you, giving you some help. And if you
That's
want,
the other thing. Sorry for me, Kay, is that I can do the content creation, and if I pulled my finger out, I could plan it a lot better and share it a lot better. But I cannot get my head around SEO at all.
That's fine. And SEO is not on this list because this is more for social media. But yes, SEO. And again, how big is your website? How much content's already there? What do you want to do? Where do you want to be? I mean, with my little therapy client, she went from page 5 on Google for her training courses to #1 within a month and a half.
Wow.
But she's very specific and local, you see. So
yeah.
So getting her SEO fine-tuned was, and she did a lot of the content creation, you know, that I told her she had to do. And she had to, I mean, in order to get it out there. But it was very local. So actually targeting local is really, really much easier than trying to target global. That's a much harder job to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's really deciding who is your client, where do they hang out physically, and where do they live? You know, where do they hang out online? Where do they live? All of that sort of being able to hone into, well, I know what they're going to search for, and I know, you know, how we can rank. Trying to rank on some of the sort of national and the international keywords is very, very hard and would cost you a lot of money. So it's trying to find the angle where you can get to your market in a way we can think like them and actually think how they're going to find you. So it all depends on you, what you're doing, what your product is, and who it is you're trying to reach. That's key, and that's how you should all be thinking about everything that you do and everything you put out there.
It's interesting actually, because someone said to me the other day that people, like literally all of us, only ever go to page 1 of our Google search.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely stunned by that, because then I realised that's exactly what I do. So if that business is not on page 1, I don't know about them.
No, and that's why ranking on page 1 for something local and more specific is a whole lot easier than ranking for something international that everybody wants. You know,
someone was saying Bing can be a little bit easier because it's not got as much on it. Is that your experience, or?
Bing. Well, the trouble with Bing is your age group you're going to reach there is much older. So again, it depends on who. But I would rank you. I would be getting you listed on both anyway. But you're looking at a much older age group that are going to be using Bing as a search engine. So sort of my age onwards, 60s upwards, so you'll get a lot of them there, but you're not going to find a lot of the younger people using Bing as a search engine.
That's a good point. I didn't know that actually. I didn't know they were an older age group. Okay, you're a star.
Because they're the ones that will like just stay with the default browser that comes with their laptop. That's the reason for it. They're not going to install anything else.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they wouldn't. They're not going to even know what Chrome means. It's just they're going to stick with what it is. The majority of them, they're going to stick with what is on their laptop, and off they go. And that's the Internet Explorer, whatever it's called now. The browser that comes with a laptop.
It's a good point, because I'm completely anti-Google as an organisation. I just think they should actually pay some tax. But I still am just too lazy to work out how I change the default on it.
Well,
yeah, the trouble is
that's
what going to find you.
Firefox is a charity, apparently.
Sorry, I missed that.
Do I mean Firefox?
Yeah, Firefox, yeah.
What do you mean Firefox? Firefox is a charity. They're just as good as Google. If you have
well, there you go. I didn't know that. Gosh, okay, maybe I need to get less lazy.
I hope I'm right about that. Deciding Mozilla or Firefox is a charity. That's all.
That's really interesting.
Actually, there's another one that's a charity. I think Firefox is works on the more sort of open source. So they're not for profit as it is, but there is actually a charity one which I can't remember. It's awful. I can't remember the name, but it's a green charity, and every time you use it, they get a certain money towards the environment, and I can't remember.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I've heard of that as well. Okay, yes.
I remember.
We should all be using them anyway.
Which is really interesting, actually, because I, on a totally other subject, was having a conversation with someone about one of the organisations I do communications for, and they were saying in Australia, millennials and the next generation are fundamentally driven by ethical consumerism. So that's almost something we're going to need to know about as well, because that's likely to be where they are.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
In the same way that they're not as interested in, money as they are in working for a good corporation and having a good life.
Yes, yeah. Thank God, and the generations are learning that.
And they're not as interested in buying things because they actually know they can't afford it as they are in experience. So they're more likely to go for a really good experience than brag about having a brand new car,
That's right.
Enjoying.
Oh God, I almost wish I'd been born in that generation. Kate,
no, you don't. We're leaving them an earth they won't want to inherit.
Yeah.
Well, no, God, that's so true. Oh my God, that's so true. Kate, do you do workshops and things, or is it one-to-one?
Yeah, I mean, I do. That's when the next thing is meant to be on. I did one yesterday, which was on. I did a Pinterest for Business one yesterday.
Oh, interesting. Because I wouldn't even know where to start. I joined Pinterest and then never really quite understood what I was meant to do with it.
I don't really know what it's for, actually, apart from nice pictures and quotes.
There you go. There you go. It's.
They need your help. They need you to tell us what they're for.
If you want to find people that are high income generating and ready to spend money, they're on Pinterest.
Are they?
Well, they're on Pinterest. The majority of them are women at the moment.
Yeah.
But there are more men joining. But that's where 93% of people go onto Pinterest to plan a purchase. 87% of people that have used Pinterest
Really?
This is really
very
because I have quite a big Pinterest following just because of sharing things. I use it as a repository for images. And do you think that there's a way of selling a book through Pinterest?
Oh, there's a way of selling anything. Yes, definitely.
So you could do clip. Okay, no, I never thought of that, but actually I've got a audience on Pinterest. Thank you.
Definitely, and books are great because of an international product, especially if you can get it, on Amazon or whatever it is. Definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, that's fascinating to me because I can't understand how seeing a pretty picture, which by the way I love. I'm often looking at Pinterest pictures, but I have no idea how that translates into something.
A lot of them have links through to something. So for me, recipes, and the recipes they'll just link straight through, and then suddenly you're on a recipe book or whatever.
Okay.
In fact, if you've got an e-commerce link on your site to buy your book, they don't even need to leave Pinterest to buy it.
Really now?
Oh, God.
Okay, you're good.
So yeah, it's a different market, and it depends on who you are, what you do, what is it you're trying to do. But I definitely say the charity stuff. Again, I don't know what kind of charity it is and who you're aiming at. But there you'll find 50% of people on Pinterest earn over $50,000 a year. The only trouble is a lot of the stats are very American.
Yeah.
Started to break. 50% of people that use Pinterest live in America. It used to be much higher. It used to be about 70. Now there's 50% from the rest of the world. They don't give us the breakdown. Now using Pinterest. And millennials use Pinterest just as much as they do Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising. That's surprising.
See, that's the sort of thing we need to know. Those gems, like you saying Tuesday, I remember reading that on LinkedIn, it was better to post between 11 and 12 on LinkedIn on a Tuesday. And I'm stuck with that, even though I don't use it, right? But I marry that. But that's such important information, and yet it seems crazy we don't know that because that's our audience, right?
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, I've heard that many times, and I sort of agree. Nobody wants you posting stuff on a Monday because you're getting in and you're starting your own life. But if every marketer in the world knows that Tuesday is the best time to post stuff, you're just going to be inundated. So I don't know how to balance that out.
The trouble is they're coming from all over the world, so they're 11 o'clock on Tuesday is a different time for me.
Well, that's true. That's true too.
It's going to get spread. Yeah, I think it's a case of testing as well. It's testing and see what kind of results you get for yourself because it depends on your audience. That's what there are a lot of rule of thumbs of statistics, average statistics, but tweak them. Start there. Use it as a starting point and then start tweaking it. This is the other search engine. It's called
Ecosia. That looks fantastic. I'm definitely going to stop being lazy and I'm going to change to that.
And then they plant trees with the searches that they do. Yeah.
Really good.
Yay! I love that. Also Instagram, Kay. I mean, like I don't do Instagram at all. Again,
right.
I've always seen Instagram as just kind of a selfie thing. But should we be doing it?
Oh yes, and you should be putting little snippets from your books and your stories in there too.
Oh really?
Again, it depends on who you're targeting. Who's your reader or whatever it is that you're targeting. Where are they going to be? But it is initially visual, but the more and more people do mini blogs. So I don't know if you saw on my plan, it's posted to Instagram, a beautiful graphic with a cut down version of what content's in the blog. You'll get a lot of people liking your images, and using hashtags is really, really important with Instagram because people do follow hashtags. So that's where you get into new audiences all the time. And they like you to engage with them, not just flitting and on and off like I do. But with my clients, it's a different story. It's really doing a bit of engagement with them. So
I do a
I'm
lot
on this Instagram TV now, so you can go and do a lot more talking on Instagram than you used to be able to.
Yeah, I use Instagram quite a lot, and I put quite a lot of my blogs on there, and there's a great thing called Linktree on it. So you can bring that back to your latest blog, your Facebook books, your website, and you can put the link in the bio at the top there.
Yeah.
So
That's fantastic. I had no idea you could do that.
you can do, it's called Linktree, and yeah, I'm about to have some Instagram, like a swap workshop in a minute, but it's really useful. And I've had lots of people join my Facebook groups from Facebook too, so it's kind of a good way of directing people into them.
And that's in Instagram, Tosh, is it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Really
Instagram is really, and you get a lot of engagement very quickly on Instagram if they like this stuff. It's
Okay.
they're nice.
Boy, we got some homework to do, people. I can just see this is going to be the subject through the tribe, SEO and social and content creation, social media. I had no idea how little I knew about this, Kay, so I am eternally grateful.
Well, if you're not, I mean, it's only when you start to use it for business do you need to look at things. If you're just using it socially, fine. But suddenly, this is where all of our clients hang out. This is where we can reach them all and we can talk to them all directly, and it's amazing. But we have to do it from their perspective rather than ours.
Yeah.
And they don't all hang around on Facebook.
No.
Same areas. A lot of them do, depending on your business. But I know a lot of mine are not on Facebook. But it really depends. That's part of your strategy. That is key. Who is your ideal person? Getting that persona worked out and writing for them and then talking to them is what it's all about.
Interesting, and that makes me think I'm going to have to rethink, because I just want anyone who wants to write in my tribe, and that's slightly broad. And they want Beth too, editors and publishers and fabulous social media creation and SEO people. That's what I want.
Nobody's got that wide an audience that it's everybody, and everybody says, "Oh, I just want everybody." Really,
Yeah.
You could have 5 different personas. I'm looking at you down there, and I know I should be looking at you there, but I can talk to you. I'm reading your lips. So you could have 5 different personas, but then you have to be writing to 5 different people. You should be writing for those people.
Because I lost someone off LinkedIn the other day, and it was interesting. It was a man who'd been in the army, and he obviously came into the tribe. He was happy to be there, and then I noticed he'd left, and it gave me a wobble. And then I thought, the tribe works. It's small, but it works. So maybe there's a different group that someone like him might be involved with, because I almost had a wobble and thought, should I change it? And then I thought, actually, even for me, the writing tribe really works. So I'd rather set up a different group that someone like him might want to go to.
Did you ask him what it was he wanted?
I think, let him go, basically. I mean, I'm a performer, and people walk out of the audience while you're doing a gig, and that's hard.
It's awful.
I mean, I had one poor dear in a wheelchair wheeling out of the audience because she was so offended by the act, and that took her about 10 minutes. It took her almost the entire time of the act, right?
That shouldn't be funny, but it's really funny.
Well, don't let it get to you. Let him go and do his thing. You've got a great tribe, and focus on that.
Well, I thought I might go back and just see if there's space for a non-fiction group, but it just, to be honest, it wouldn't be as fun. I mean, which is fine, because some people are not going to want the other interaction. But but it did give me a wobble. But I think it is. I think I'm hearing you, Kay. You just can't. Everything can't be for everyone. So
it can't be, and you would be so broken down and scattergun, and you would end up being not helping anybody or not suiting anyone, because you're trying to be so diluted to give everybody a bit of something that nobody gets anything out of it. So no, stay focused on what you're doing. Maybe you should decide what that is.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, it is. Because I mean, Mary's also, your group's quite broad, isn't it? Really, for what you're doing. Oh, sorry, she can't talk. Sorry, I'm gonna.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Go on.
Well, I don't know what the
I was
question
just
is.
saying that your group's quite broad.
Yeah. In what way?
Your target audience is quite
Yeah, I mean,
broad.
my whole thing is about confidence and impact skills. So yeah, I guess it's quite broad.
Sorry, she was really pleased that I just asked her that question while she was thinking about how to use Pinterest.
Right, so has anybody got any more questions? Let me just...
We will, of course, as soon as we get off here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I mean, really, I have to put some links into the PDF that I've created of the guide, because that's all I've got left to do on it. Then I'll upload it to my website, and then I'll give you the link so you can download it and have all this information plus the links to all the various pieces of software in it and my contact details.
Fantastic. I've already signed up to Lumen 5.
Yeah, you'll get the first free. You won't have the little Lumen thing at the end, but eventually will. But she's fine. But you can also just take it. I'm not going to tell you that.
Thank you. Hey, honestly, I can't say how grateful I am, because this has just, I really have learned just how much I didn't know.
No, you're very
I'm sure I'm not alone.
No, absolutely. Thanks so much for your time, Kay. It's really very, very helpful and interesting. Look forward to getting the links.
You're very welcome. And don't
let me jump on late.
Sorry?
Well, look, I'm so glad you could. There were a few technical difficulties. I'm really sorry about that. I'm so grateful that Kay recorded it. So anyway, thank you, everyone, and thank you so much, Kay. You are a star.
I hope
Thank
I'm
you.
recording it.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.